Indiana Fever many fans is still poking fingers at head coach Stephanie White for actually making the game not entertaining anymore, bro. This motion offense has to be addressed, and Stephanie White has to be held accountable because it's truly the offense that she's running, and it is not for Caitlin Clark at this point. Now, both Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White spoke to the media immediately.
What really happened behind the scenes? Caitlin Clark just dropped a brutally honest bombshell about her health. And oh, she didn't hold back on Stephanie White either. Was it shade? Was it true? Was it both? Wrapped in a jump shot and served cold. You'll have to see it to believe it, because this isn't your average press conference. Nope. This is Caitlin Uncensored. And let's just say jaws are on the floor. Grab popcorn. It's that kind of video.
I thought at times we could have played a little bit faster, and I think that's on me, like not conceding in that. We still got to play up tempo. We still got to play fast. But I mean, I thought for the most part we did a lot of stuff that coach wanted us to do, and you know, that wasn't why we lost.
I can't hold you, man. That kind of looked like she let that slip out, man. I don't know. But I mean, we all see it. When they play slow, it's just not a good team, man. They're not as good as we see that they could be, right? So they need to play fast, man. I think, you know, they don't necessarily look that good when they're playing half-court ball. Maybe taking something from the Valkyries, man. The Valkyries run, all right? They be running.
She looks exhausted, not tired, spiritually dehydrated. Caitlin Clark is running on fumes, caffeine, and sheer willpower, while the WNBA throws every possible roadblock at her like it's some twisted version of American Ninja Warrior, but with worse referees and even worse coaching. Forget the hardwood. This woman's navigating landmines.
The league needs to take care of Caitlin, not for special treatment purposes, but that's who everybody's there to see. Everybody wants to see Caitlin Clark play. And if you let other teams and other people beat the shit out of her, she's going to spend 2 weeks out injured. And your attendance is going to drop because people aren't going to get the chance to see her. And if you actually want to be paid the same as the NBA players, obviously not by actual dollar for dollar, but for revenue percentage, you need to protect her. You need her to be playing at her best and not be having the...
She's been the poster girl for hope, growth, and ticket sales. She's also become the favorite chew toy of referees who must have mistaken her for a tackling dummy. It's not just missed calls anymore. It's a full-blown experimental science project where referees test how many illegal screens and shoulder bumps one player can take before turning into emotional jelly.
Vegas Aces defeated the Indiana Fever 89-81. And this game was disappointing for many fans, not only for the fact that it seemed like the Fever had this one in the bag, but they kind of gave it away at the end of the game, but also because it seemed like there was something off with this Fever team. They didn't have the same energy and spark that we all know and love. So many fans are asking, what is going on?
And it's not a pretty sight. The whistles have turned into wind instruments that only play when she's the one doing something. And suddenly the rulebook feels like a choose-your-own-adventure novel authored by chaos. If someone sneezes on her, it's play on. But if she breathes near someone, that's a flagrant 2 and a 5-game suspension.
I have figured out the solution to the Indiana Fever's problems. Hear me out, hear me out, hear me out. This is what we got to do. We got to put Caitlin Clark off ball. We need to run a motion offense, so when the defense takes away what Caitlin Clark does best, we have other players that can still perform, so when she does have bad games, we're not completely dead in the water. I think that is the best way to move forward with this Indiana Fever team.
Physicality is criminal, not metaphorically, legitimately suspicious. There are muggings with less contact. At this point, we might need to check if some of these defenders have brass knuckles taped under their wristbands. And what's the league response? Crickets. Or worse, passive-aggressive Instagram posts that pretend everything's fine while their brightest star gets Bodas slammed into irrelevance, and don't even get started on Indiana. Emotionally draining doesn't begin to cover it. The vibes are off. The air is heavy. The locker room energy feels like a haunted group therapy session sponsored by Broken Dreams and Gatorade. It's like Caitlin walked into a franchise built entirely out of IKEA furniture. Fragile, unstable, and just confusing to assemble. You'd think Indiana would roll out the red carpet for a generational talent. Nope. They handed her a paper towel and pointed her toward a leaky faucet. She's trying to play 4D chess while her teammates are busy playing hungry hippos. The offense undefined. The defense non-existent. And somehow Stephanie White is on the sidelines drawing up plays like she's playing Pictionary with invisible ink. There's no system, no direction, just vibes. And not the good kind.
First, talk about Caitlin Clark. So she struggled once again in this game. She was 7 for 20 from the field and 1 for 10 from 3, which puts her at 1 for 17 over the past few games. And if you're a fan of Caitlin Clark, you know that this is so unlike her. She is arguably the best shooter in the WNBA, and she is having a significant cold streak over the past 2 games. But her missing shots isn't actually what bothers me. The thing that bothered me most in the game yesterday was the one shot that she passed up. Now, she had been missing a few shots, and if you guys were on my live stream, I said the thing that she needs to do is to continue shooting. Shooters shoot. The only way to break a cold streak is to continue shooting.
Every time Clark turns to the bench, it's like looking into the void. Stephanie White stands there, gesturing like she's ordering coffee in a loud drive-thru while the game slips further into chaos. It's not coaching, it's interpretive dance. One moment she wants fast pace, the next she's screaming about patience, and the players are caught in a full-speed existential crisis trying to decipher which version of the plan they're following, and it's starting to show. Park's game, once crisp and electric, now looks like it's buffering. Her passes are a little late, her confidence a little shaken. She's hesitating where she once attacked with reckless genius. And honestly, who wouldn't? Imagine trying to execute elite-level basketball while constantly checking your back for flying elbows and your bench for signs of sentient life. At this rate, Caitlin's going to need a spectacle or an exorcist, or maybe both, because what's being done to her isn't just bad basketball. It's psychological warfare. This league is supposed to protect and elevate its stars, not grind them down to dusty highlight reels and regret. And yet, here she is slowly being drained by a league that begged for her brilliance, but forgot how to nurture it.
Wait, what'd you say? Wait, what? Did you just tell me that Stephanie White went on an interview tour this whole entire offseason saying exactly that? Did you just tell me Stephanie White went on an interview? So how come when Caitlin Clark has a bad game, this team looks like absolute dog shit? How come when Caitlin Clark isn't busy backpacking this team, it looks like absolute dog shit, coach? Just a question. Just a question. What we saw today, folks, I feel bad for everybody that had to sit through that. Everybody that wasted 2 hours and 25 minutes watching the Indiana Fever versus the Las Vegas Aces. I feel bad that we had to sit through that. That was a tough watch.
And the kicker, she hasn't even hit her sophomore stride yet. This is supposed to be the glow-up season, the big leap, the I know what I'm doing now phase. Instead, she's trying to survive the Hunger Games with a water pistol and a set of mismatched teammates. And while the fan base is screaming for help, league officials are out here playing Sudoku with the rules is almost poetic in a tragic Shakespearean way. A generational talent stuck in a remake of Groundhog Day where every game is just a remix of disappointment and bruised ribs. And through it all, Stephanie White continues to smirk her way through press conferences like she's unlocked some master plan that only exists in a parallel dimension. Get out before she starts second-guessing the very instincts that made her unstoppable. Before she trades her fire for fatigue, before she wakes up and realizes she's not leading a revolution, she's trapped in a dumpster fire with a hoop nailed to the side.
Well, I think you have to look at things a little bit holistically. I think Caitlin Clark is a really hard player to officiate, much like Diana Taurasi was throughout the course of her career, for a couple of reasons. Caitlin Clark regularly gets picked up in the full court. She also gets blitzed more over the course of her career than any player in WNBA history or in that period of time. And she also creates some contact herself on the offensive end of the floor. She is very difficult to officiate because of all of the contact that's happening around her.
All of she needs an escape plan, a parachute, maybe even a time machine, because the longer she stays in this emotional blender, the harder it's going to be to recover. And no, this isn't just about losing games. This is about losing her identity as a player while the league sits back and lets it happen. It's baffling. They rolled out every camera and sponsorship deal the second she went pro. And now they're letting her fade behind post entries and aimless dribble handle. She's not just any player, she's the player, the reason people are tuning in. And yet, they're managing her like she's a spare part in a 20-year-old team rebuild with a broken GPS. Meanwhile, Stephanie White is busy treating lineups like a Pinterest board, endlessly experimenting with rotations that make zero sense. Like, sure, let's take Caitlin off the ball for 80% of the game. That'll definitely fix things. If no one's going to save her, she needs to save herself, because this is the kind of environment that doesn't just mess with your stats, it messes with your soul. And honestly, she deserves better. The fans deserve better. The game deserves better.
Well, I be damned. I be damned. 7 for 20 from the field, 1 for 10 from the three-point line. And look at those turnovers, 8 turnovers. She leads the league in turnovers. But guess what? Her Clarkies are only going to be impressed, and they're going to brag about the 19 points and 10 assists. Me personally, I'm all about efficiency. I'm concerned about those last 3, them turnovers, which she leads the league in turnovers. She is shooting horrible from the field. And as far as them three-pointers, in the last 2 games, she's only made 1 three-pointer, and that's the one against the...
So, unless Indiana finds a spine, a new game plan, and a coach who can tell the difference between motion, offense, and chaotic flailing, Caitlin Clark better start packing her bags. Because if she sticks around much longer, we're not watching a superstar rise. We're watching a legend get buried under apathy, bad whistles, and Stephanie White's magical mystery tour of tactical confusion. Meanwhile, she's on the court, but she's not running the show. Not even close. Caitlin Clark looks like she's trapped in some dystopian stage play where she's the lead but never allowed to speak. Her movements are there. Her talent is intact. But the authority, the leadership, that spark of command that once made her the absolute gravitational center of the basketball universe, it's being dimmed, smothered, not just sidelined, erased. Caitlin Clark isn't being developed. She's being deconstructed, pulled apart, piece by piece, like a car being scrapped for parts in some back alley garage. And everyone's acting like it's business as usual, like it's just part of the rookie experience, as if being gas-lit into irrelevance is a character-building exercise. Spoiler alert, it's not. It's a slow, brutal, soul-sucking drain wrapped in a glossy WNBA logo.
That Indiana Fever were trying to be that team that runs you off the floor, that hustles. I felt like they were the deepest team. Like, looking at the roster, man, they actually have some players that could run the floor. And I'm just like, dang, bro, it's really crazy to see that they're not really trying to run the floor like I would expect them to. And also using Michaela Timpson. Like, that is some young pair of legs, man. You should be using Michaela Timpson to help you run the floor, play lockdown defense, hustle defense, winning the 50-50 balls. You need young legs to do that.
And yes, she's still standing. She's still showing up, but at what cost? Every game is a new layer of bruises, physical, mental, reputational. She's surviving on fumes and fury, and the toll is visible. The smile's tighter, the body language stiffer, the fire's flickering under a pile of nonsense. And the worst part, it's not an accident. It's intentional erosion. Let's not pretend this is just about one team. This is systemic. It's the entire league letting the mob loose on her, then shrugging like it's all just part of the culture. Competitors aren't just defending, they're attacking like it's personal. And if you thought that was as dark as it gets, enter Jenna Arima. Because apparently we needed that little sideswipe to round out the madness. A man who could have offered wisdom or solidarity decided instead to go full demolition mode without warning, without context, just a condescending wrecking ball of unwarranted shade aimed straight at a 22-year-old navigating the biggest circus in sports right now. Like she needed more reasons to question everything. It wasn't critique. It was character defamation with varsity credentials. The kind of dismissive nonsense that stings 10 times more coming from someone who should know better. That was no coach's insight. That was sabotage. Loud, unnecessary, and deeply unhelpful. It didn't clarify anything. Just added another layer of bitterness to an already toxic soup.